Welcome to Sexy Soulful Success, the podcast for women leaders who are ready to transition from exhausted hustle to enlivened flow in their businesses and beyond. I'm your host, Emily Castle, leadership and business coach for ambitious, high-achieving women entrepreneurs. We will be hearing real behind-the-scenes stories, inspiring words of wisdom, and actionable strategies from women who are creating their empires with sexy confidence, soulful alignment, and an abundant mindset for success. You'll also hear shorter solo episodes from me to help you launch, grow, and scale your business by working smarter, not harder. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to listen in as I coach real women leaders from our community about challenges and burning questions in their businesses. My mission is to help you walk away feeling more confident in your own journey, free to embrace and express your innate feminine wisdom in all you do, ready to deliver your unique contribution to the world, and inspired to take the necessary action to grow your impact and income through your business. Let's dive into today's episode. Cherie Hoeger is the co-founder of Saalt, a period care company with a mission to modernize reusable and sustainable period care. In 2018, she and co-founder Amber Fawson launched their flagship product, the Saalt Period Cup, with the dream of making periods better for women and girls in the United States and across the globe. Leading Saalt's social impact efforts, Cherie began networking with charities to provide their period cups to underprivileged girls and women so they could confidently manage their periods, stay in school, and lift themselves out of poverty. After just over a year in business, Saalt has donated thousands of cups in over a dozen countries to improve period care and created a wave of informed cup users who then act as mentors for other donation recipients. Before starting Saalt, Cherie had been an entrepreneur in several former ventures, as well as a technical writer with 15 years of publication experience. Most recently, she helped co-author 7 editions of collegiate textbooks in the field of fitness and wellness. So cool. Cherie is the mother of 5 daughters and considers them her greatest success. Welcome to the show, love. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I am so thrilled to be here.
I'm so happy. I remember receiving a Saalt cup in the mail from you guys when you first, it must have been even maybe before you first launched. It was about a year, 13 or 14 months ago, probably. I was still in Charleston, and I'm just so excited to see all that you've created and the numbers of like how many cups you've donated and just the impact that your business is making. So it's such an honor to connect with you today and to share your story with the podcast listeners.
And thank you for being such an early supporter. It sounds like you may have been part of our focus group that received cups before our launch. And we just appreciate so much the support of all the women who were cheering us on and wanted to bring this cup to market. I'm so glad that you were a cup convert and that you're a cheerleader in the cause.
Yes, definitely am. Okay, so you know that my first question is always, what does sexy, soulful success mean to you?
So to me, sexiness is all about being comfortable and confident in your own skin. And that's also true for finding success in business. When you find a business or cause that's aligned with your core ethics and passions, it doesn't really feel like work, but more like a natural extension of your soul and what you already believe in. And I've always shied away from sales and have never really considered myself a strong salesperson. Yet I find myself constantly pitching and selling the idea of sustainable period care to customers and retailers and news outlets all of the time. And it's because it's easy to sell a product or idea that you feel fully confident in and know will be life-changing for so many people.
Oh, yes. And I'd love to kick off this conversation also with where did this inspiration come from for you? Because I think that's the most interesting thing that I love hearing about women entrepreneurs who start businesses and who, especially in the product-based business space, and especially on top of that with, deciding that it's going to be in some ways a Giveback company or a company with a mission that goes much deeper than just creating a product, but really has so many layers of good baked into the model. So what was it like for you to start this business, to get this spark, to meet your co-founder, and like, what has that process been like? Walk us through what that looks like for you.
Yes, absolutely. So before starting Saalt, Amber and I worked together on co-authoring those collegiate textbooks on fitness and wellness. So we've always been big proponents of healthy living and loved working together. But the spark came from a phone call I had with our aunt in Venezuela, who'd gone for months without pads or tampons because of the political instability there. It had
Wow.
caused huge shortages of consumer staples like food and hygiene supplies. So grocery stores were literally empty. And when we got off the phone, I immediately thought of my 5 daughters and what I would do in that situation. And it led to a lot of research on what reusable options there were out there. And that's when I was first introduced to the period cup and was immediately sold the fact that it was clean and non-toxic, that you could wear it for 12 hours at a time and sleep with it in, that it was more comfortable and healthier than tampons. It could last for 10 years, which meant it was diverting 10 years of waste. I just thought, where has this been my whole life? And why aren't more of my friends using these period cups? And Amber quickly became a cup convert as well. And we just felt so strongly that period cups needed to be understood by a mainstream audience that we decided to launch Saalt and spread the word about period cups in the United States and also abroad, because we understood what it could do for the trajectory of a girl's life overseas who oftentimes would drop out of school as soon as they hit puberty. So knowing that really fueled us, and I started designing what I hoped would be the most comfortable and highest quality cup on the market to really take to a mainstream audience.
Wow. So you just started with this idea, some research, and then you started iterating a design, basically.
Yes, and my husband helped me out. He was one of the first cup converts. He was there with our 3D CAD model, and I was saying, "Hey, I want it to look a little cuter.
Yeah.
Let's make this cute bulb shape, and I want a stem that is going to be super comfortable and flexible." And it was really a fun process.
Cool. I love that. That's so awesome that your husband was also on board and an enthusiast from the beginning. It's so
Very
great.
much, and I will add that both of our husbands are co-founders. Also, they
Oh,
jumped
amazing.
on board pretty pretty quickly as soon as Saalt started to grow. They've actually joined us working full time, and so we are a four founder team.
Cool. What is that like for you? I'm just imagining like I hear so many women talk about the sort of divide and the boundaries between work and life and relationships and all of these things. What has that been like for you to be in business with, one, your friend, and then two, your friend's husband and your own husband?
I love working with my husband, and
Mm-hmm.
I love working with our founder team because we have four heads that really tackle a problem. It's really a
Mm.
great thing to be able to have all those competencies. And I really feel like it's made us look at creative solutions for women in the workplace, because I'm
Mm.
a mom of five, very much a full-time mom, and also a full-time founder, and Amber's a mom of four. And you have to figure out how you're going to balance that, especially when your husbands are on board. So we feel like we're really in this position to make strides for women, not only abroad, but also in the workplace. We as female entrepreneurs have so much ability to empower other women for our examples in leadership and what we can do. So for example,
Mm-hmm.
we the high cost of childcare is one of the number one
Mm-hmm.
barriers for moms who want to go to work, but they feel guilty sending their kids to daycare, and oftentimes it's not cost effective. And because our Saalt team is made up of mostly females, many who are mothers of young children, including myself, because my youngest are 4 and 2 years old, we started offering an in-office preschool 3 days per week with
Wow.
2 certified preschool teachers. And it's been so instrumental in our team's success because we've been able to tap into this amazing female talent pool who otherwise wouldn't be in the workplace. And our employees are so grateful to be there because it gives them the chance to use their skills to contribute meaningfully to a cause they're passionate about. and also see their children throughout the workday. They go and they give them hugs. They're able to go pick them up and feed them lunch and then go back to work. And they know their kids are in a positive learning environment with people that they trust right there in the workplace. So I'm in office 3 times per week with my children there, and then I spend 2 days at home where I work in my home office. And it is a beautiful thing to have been able to create that work schedule for myself and also empower employees with that. It's people, they love working for Saalt.
I am so delighted to hear that. That is so amazing and revolutionary, and what a gift to yourself and your team and their children, and just setting an example and trailblazing a different model for what this can look like. Because you're right, I think about that all the time. If I were not working for myself, or if I had an office to go into every day, I work from home, so I don't have that challenge, and I don't yet have kids. But I think about, the women who I know who do have children, and the struggle of that and the cost of it. Like you said, it's usually not cost effective. I hear so many women talking about how it makes more sense for them not to work than to send their kid to preschool and
Yep.
daycare. And if they have multiple kids, it's even higher cost. So that is so amazing. And does your whole team then work from home Monday and Friday as well?
No, we have full timers. It's usually our part-time moms that are taking advantage of the preschool.
Ah,
But what it
very cool.
also does is it really helps solve that gender pay gap issue also, because a lot of that is tied to mothers who work from home and who have children. And, studies really show that the best way to increase the amount of women in leadership roles is to both expose them to more women in actual leadership roles and also explore these creative solutions that empower them to be in those leadership roles. And that's what we've done. Like, for instance, Lindsay, who's our social media director,
Mm-hmm.
she is part-time, and she's able to be in this director role and bring in her children and contribute. She has the capacity to do this, and she has the competency, and she has a degree and the background to do it, and she's able to do it in a way that works for her family.
Oh, I love that.
We need more of those creative solutions.
Yes, absolutely. This is so exciting. I'm so pumped to hear this about Saalt. I didn't even know that was happening behind the scenes because I was focused on all the other amazing things that you guys are up to and creating in the world. That's so awesome. And is your office in Idaho where you are?
Yeah, we're located in beautiful Boise, Idaho. It's a very outdoorsy city, and we love
it. Cool. Now I want to visit. When it comes to your office. Awesome. So I know I found out through Instagram one day that you had also landed this amazing deal with Target. And I was so excited when I heard that, because I was like, oh my gosh, I remember when this company was like just getting started, and I felt so like personally connected. And I was like, oh my God, they're in Target. This is so cool. I was so pumped about it because also one, I love Target, and who doesn't, everybody loves Target, I think. I've not met anyone who was like,
I would agree with that.
I've never met any woman who wasn't like, I love Target. So amazing that you're able to get your products and your mission in front of so many more people. That must feel so incredible for you.
It does. Target has always been our dream retailer.
Uh-huh.
And I still pinch myself that actually happened in our second year of business. I don't think that is usually the case. Yeah. And I remember when we were debating back and forth on our packaging design, and what it always came down to is we want our packaging to be Target worthy. We knew it had to be, because that was our goal. And I can tell you about the way that came about. Do you want to hear the story?
Absolutely. And also I want to say, before you start talking about that, I love your branding and your packaging. And that was the one thing right off the bat that I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I loved it. So
that is the product of a wonderful company in Glasgow, Scotland, that we had to go visit, of course.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful eye for design. And we're able to take our vision and create exactly what we wanted.
Wow.
And, I can go into our packaging. Maybe I'll tell you a little bit later, but I'll tell you the Target story.
Okay, sounds good.
So the way that came about is that last year my husband joined me for a trade show in Florida that is essentially speed dating for retailers. So we pitched to 26 retailers in 48 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them was the Target buyer. and we were so nervous and so stoked to be able to pitch to her. I had only pitched to one other major retail buyer previous to that, and I won't name who, but the buyer was very close-minded to cups. She was a bit stone-faced, and I really had no idea what to expect from this target buyer. But to our surprise, the target buyer was not only a progressive thinker, but was all for sustainable products, which you would only imagine coming from Target. And she was a big Metro Cup fan herself and had been passing around different brands around the office for her coworkers to try. And she was just so friendly and encouraging. And it was just like having this beautiful, natural conversation. And I was floored. She gave us such great feedback on what we could do to change our packaging a bit, which we did, to make it more shelf ready for retail consumers and have all the information they needed right there on the package. And I thought I was a big fan of Target before, but interacting with her just cemented that Target was exactly who we wanted to partner with. So you can imagine our excitement when Amber and I got invited to Minnesota for line reviews, which meant we got to do a follow-up meeting with the buyer for about 20 minutes. And we were so nervous and gushing over the amazing energy of the Target corporate offices as we went up the elevators to go meet with her. And as the meeting began, we started to get a little bit more nervous because her and her assistant were visibly busy. They were meeting with, all sorts of brands at the time in these short 20-minute conferences. They weren't really making eye contact, and we were beginning to worry a bit as to what this would look like. So you can imagine our excitement and reaction when, after having a conversation, she looked up at us, and from across the table, she said, "I've looked at a lot of cups, and I really think your brand is best positioned to take this cup mainstream." She actually
I
said
have
that.
chills. I have chills. That would be such a big moment. Oh my gosh.
And then she proceeded to negotiate for exclusivity in launching our brand. And
Wow.
I just wanted to pinch myself. We launched in Target on April 7th of this year. And so far, we've been beating our sales projections, and it's just been a dream come true.
Wow. So were you, like, I'm just imagining from the business perspective, were you, like, did it require, I'm just thinking, so they must have placed a huge order with you to be able to put it across, like, was it select targets only that it rolled out at, or was it like everywhere at one time? What's the process like that they use to launch your product?
Yeah, no, we launched in 1,800 stores,
Wow.
which is full chain. It just minuses out some of the smaller boutique type retailers or locations that they have. And yeah, it's been incredible to be able to have had that happen and to have it had exclusivity. So we are not allowed to go into other retailers for a year. And we've had them knocking at our door, which is a really beautiful place to be.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for you. This is so cool and huge for so many reasons. I love this. Oh, yay. Okay. So what has it been like for you to, now that I know that both of your husbands are on your team of founders, now this sort of, the question that I had in mind for you is maybe shifting a little bit, but what has it been like for you to grow a platform for your product as a woman creating menstrual products for women when many men who you may be talking to for as like buyers or investors or anything like that may not fully get it? Or do you find that they do get it? Because I feel like I've heard a lot of women talk about, I was at the Create and Cultivate conference in New York recently, and one of the things that they talked about was when you're getting funding or when you're pitching an idea, sometimes when your product is so niche for women, sometimes the men on the other side of the table or the screen or whatever don't necessarily understand the value or the impact that can be created through this product or the work that you're doing. Have you run into any of that?
That is such a great question in our space, for sure. There's always that initial awkwardness because as a society, we've been taught to keep conversations around periods hush hush. And what we found is that it's you as a woman who really sets the tone for that conversation. Your comfort level talking about periods is what gives permission to a male or any other party to also feel comfortable. And we are all about encouraging everyone to not only talk openly about periods, but also be period positive. Amber and I have pitched to a lot of male bankers and attorneys, retail buyers, or just men passing by our event booth or installation. And every time we have a conversation, it starts to turn meaningful and engaging, especially when you bring up our charity efforts to support girls' education abroad. Pretty soon, they start sharing Saalt with their spouse or their sister or their daughter. And really, our husbands are the perfect example. They started out asking, now, what's this period cup thing that you're excited about? But it didn't take long for them to become our most passionate ambassadors because they realized what this could do for so many women and girls, including our own daughters.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's so amazing. I love that. I love that it's really, what you're saying is, it's really our responsibility, and whether we're awkward about it or not, and whether, we're positioning it from a place of discomfort or confidence when we're talking about it.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. And I think that's such great advice across the board for anything that we're doing in life. Anyone who's listening, whatever your business is or your idea or whatever it is that you want to do, it's really about the way that you're presenting it and showing up, not so much about how that's what determines how it's perceived and received, not just whatever's on the other side, because it's a relationship. You're having a conversation and it takes both sides. So I love that.
Exactly. And we've also found that conversation is so important between women, because there has been such a lack of innovation around period products because the taboos and stigmas have stifled that innovation. And a lot of those innovation have come from men. It was actually a woman who did originally patent the design for the period cup in the 1930s.
Oh my gosh, what?
That's how long the period cup design has been around. That's over 80 years. Why had more women not realized that the cup was even an option? No one had managed to get the word out in 80 years about menstrual cups. And that is really what fueled Amber and I. We just said, this has to change. We knew that there was going to be a large enough market of menstruators. This goes into, I remember this conversation where we're saying, are we really thinking about going into this product that could be used for 10 years? Like, would this even be profitable?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to make this work? But we knew that there was a large enough market of menstruators taking up 50% of the world's population. And we knew that more women needed to have this product in their lives, and it needed to be introduced earlier to our girls because it could be so life-changing, and it's just a better solution.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Okay. So sort of following that train of thought, the Giveback initiative that's part of your mission at Saalt, how did you choose where and with whom to partner to make an impact? Or do you have like multiple partners, or whoever contacts you and says, hey, we need this, you give? Like, what does that look like? How did you set that up and decide?
Yeah. So some of it came very deliberately and some organically. We knew from the get-go that we wanted to become a benefit corporation and allocate 2% of our revenue to our social mission, which we use to donate period cups to women and girls in need, both in the US and overseas, and to also fund scholarships for girls and sustainability initiatives that were going to help address barriers to long-term adoption. So whether that's helping build a latrine or getting a clean water source, or for instance, we just hired our first full-time employee in Nepal to teach about menstrual health and help break those taboos. And that's what we found was required to really bring about this long-term cup adoption in this pilot program. So we found most of our initial charity partners through referrals from our customers who would put us in contact. That's how we were introduced to Her International, which focuses its efforts in Nepal, and also our primary partners in Kenya and Uganda and South Africa and in Latin America. It's just amazing to see how many of our customers reach out to us literally weekly to volunteer to take cups in their luggage on charity missions and teach classes. We just love seeing how passionate our customers are about our cause. They really are just as much as we are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. How do you feel like, what does it take? I'm just wondering for you, from where you're standing, what does it take to create a business where you have that sort of loyal customer base who really believes in what you're doing and is like, hey, I'm going to, Costa Rica, or I'm going to Peru, or I'm going somewhere. And I think the women there need menstrual cups, or I'm going to do this thing. And I would love to partner with you. How do you get that sort of engaged audience? Like, what did you do to build that?
Yes, this was actually Amber's idea, and it was a brilliant
Mhm.
idea. We
Yeah.
started our focus group, our Facebook focus group. I
Mm.
think we called it Salt Loves Our Focus Group. And initially, we would go around, host these lunches where we'd call our friends and family members, and we would say, we'll pay for your lunch, just bring your computers and invite your friends to our focus group. We want to get the word out about period cups, but we want to hear what you have to say and what you're looking for in our messaging, in our packaging, in our marketing. And so we would put out all our questions to these peers, and we grew this focus group to 1,000 members. And really, movements are started by 1,000 members. If you look at the stats, if you have 1,000 people passionate about your cause, then you can get a movement going.
Mm.
And we would ask them all of these questions and get their feedback and listen to their feedback and incorporate it. And so they really felt like they were part of our business, and we really felt like we were just bringing to market what everyone was asking for. So our customers have been an integral part of our business from the get-go.
I love that. I love what you said that makes it so simple. If you have 1,000 people who deeply believe and are passionate about your cause, that creates a movement. Plain and simple. That's amazing. Did you know that going in? Or was it just like, okay, was your intention like, okay, if we can get 1,000 people in our focus group, that will create X, Y, and Z and create this ripple?
Yes, Amber could speak better to this, but I
Okay.
think that she did find it from a study, or it was a marketing book. And she said, we just need 1,000 people that are saying, yes, we want salt. And then we have our proven concept.
Cool. I love that. So savvy. I love it. All right. So, I would love to know on a personal level now, let's pivot a bit in our conversation. What do you feel you're most grateful for about the entrepreneurial journey that you've been on? Are there any lessons or experiences or tools or people or just anything that you feel most grateful for?
Yes, I'm going to have a hard time keeping this concise because there's so much that I'm grateful for. There's so much that I've learned. And don't get me wrong, the startup journey, especially pre-profitability, takes so much grit and hustle and late nights and sacrifice, especially being a mom with 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so fulfilling when you have a cause that's aligned with your values. I absolutely love what I do because it fulfills a lifelong dream of mine. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to make a noticeable difference in the world. And I remember reading Mother Teresa's biography and thinking, I want to be just like her.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up just loving philanthropists like Melinda Gates and Cheryl Wu Dunn and all that they've done. They were really my heroes. And I always pictured myself eventually working in the nonprofit sector or volunteering with some philanthropic effort. And now Salt has provided me that vehicle to fulfill that dream. So, for instance, this past February, my husband and I were able to take our oldest 3 girls to Nepal to go meet with Her International and see our efforts firsthand. And we were able to donate cups there and teach about cups. My 7-year-old would join me up and show everyone how to do a fold in front of all these big-eyed Nepali beautiful women. And it just brought me so much joy to share that incredible experience with my family.
Mm. That's amazing.
And there's more I'm thankful for. For instance, work-life balance. That is such a buzzword,
Mm-hmm.
especially for women. And I once heard the term work-life optimization on a podcast from startups.com. And I really find that I prefer that term because the concept of achieving absolute success and balance in all areas of life is really an impossible goal. You simply can't do everything well and because you'll only achieve these mediocre results in life if you spread yourself too thin, trying to balance too many demands. But I absolutely believe you can achieve great success in those few key areas that you enjoy most and bring you the most fulfillment if you take steps to optimize your daily routine to always include what's most important to you. So, for instance, for those who've read the book Essentialism, it's such a fantastic book.
Oh my gosh, I just started reading that. That is so funny.
Goodness.
I've had it downloaded on Audible for like a year and a half or 2 years, but I just started. I was like, I need this now. This is my next book. That's so crazy. Okay, go on.
You are going to love it. It's
Yes.
The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And essentialists call those few key areas your vital few. And it's all about living those vital few very deliberately. So in my personal application, the way I find fulfillment and balance with my vital few is by committing to a strong morning routine that includes all of those key areas. And it's such a beautiful way to live, because when you give yourself time to all that's most important to you right at the start of your day, then it doesn't really matter how the rest of your day goes or whether you really accomplish anything, because you already feel fulfilled from what you accomplished just that morning. So for instance, in my morning routine, I took a good look at what brought me the most happiness and fulfillment in life, and decided that the areas of life most important to me were my spiritual growth, my health, my family and relationships, and my contribution to the world. So really just 4 key areas. And then I spent some time creating and experimenting with a morning routine that hit all of those areas within the first 2 hours of my day. Do you want to hear about my morning routine?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I love this.
So I start off with prayer and 20 minutes of inspirational study that I then follow up with meditation and journaling. And then I review my affirmations, which I've written down over time on who I am and what I want to become. And I visualize what my successful day will look like that includes all of those affirmations. Then I move on to cardio and strength and my workout routine, and I'm listening to good books and podcasts. And there you go. Within the first 90 minutes, I've already invested in my health and my spiritual growth, which grounds me and fills my cup, so then I can give my time and energy to others. And then the last 30 minutes of those 2 hours, I spend giving that energy to others. I am fully present for my kids. I go give them big hugs, and to my spouse, show them a lot of love. And then I write down 2 people that I'll reach out to that day and love and support. And I also identify the 2 most important and impactful things I can do for my business to maximize my contribution and to really solve problems. And I commit to doing that before I do anything else, before I look at emails, before I do any reactive work. I commit to doing those only 2 most important things. And I found it seems like you only accomplish 2 things in a day, which isn't true. You accomplish a lot. But if you accomplish just those 2 most important things that are going to drive your business forward, then you can feel fulfilled and accomplished for the rest of your day. Hit those things first.
Yes. I love that so much. I'm so fired up now. I'm like, I have to write down my new morning ritual.
No, it's really a powerful vehicle, but I do want to add one caveat, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's that as women, especially mothers, we have to give ourselves grace. So if you don't hit your morning routine every day, obviously we have travel schedules and other commitments. The beautiful thing about having a morning routine that you commit to is that you can do it 3 or 4 times a week and still feel fulfilled and feel like you're hitting those areas, because you are accomplishing that most of the time. And we need to give ourselves grace as women. So don't, hold yourself to that standard and say, oh, I didn't get up early enough to get all this done, before I had this other meeting or commitment. That's fine. You've done it, the other days of the week.
I love that distinction, because I feel like there are so many people out there who they beat themselves up about not doing it perfectly every single day, and then they let that derail them, versus getting the benefit and optimizing, like you said, what we can do when we can do it, when it's attainable, versus focusing on when it didn't work and then letting that be the downward spiral.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
You're
love
going to
that.
love that book. I am so excited for
Oh,
you to read it.
I'm going to circle back with you once I do and tell you how much I loved it. We can chat about it a little bit. So yeah, okay, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I love hearing other people's morning rituals, and my clients love hearing about that too. And everyone who listens to the podcast is like a morning ritual nerd. So thank you.
I think it's really what sets apart the doers of the world
Oh,
is
it's so
those
true.
that will get up and commit to personal development and their growth and really investing in themselves before trying to go out and give of their time and energy to others. We need to do that. We need to fill our own cups first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. So let's circle back to your branding and also the name of Saalt, because I didn't even ask you this, but it's actually something that as we were talking, I was like, wait a minute, I don't even know the answer to that. How did you decide on the name? And then tell me more about your beautiful, beautiful branding and how all of that shook out.
Okay. So Amber came up with the name Saalt to represent something that's essential and natural and really a return to something simple for period care. So it doesn't stand for anything. People ask us that question all the time. We just really wanted a name that would invoke that feeling of naturalness.
Love that. Very wise.
And then with our branding, we knew that one of the biggest challenges and unknowns entering into this product category that is still really taboo for a lot of people is that we needed to take that stigma head on. So we knew that the way we presented our products, our brand, and our voice would be critical to really shift the consumer mindset on reusable products. Really, the stigma presented both our greatest challenge and also our opportunity. And we decided to overcome that stigma by creating a beautiful high-end package that placed the cup on a pedestal and showcased it for what it really is. It's a hands down better user experience over disposables that's also healthier and more comfortable and more sustainable for the environment. So we were very deliberate about our brand imagery and voice to elevate menstrual cups to sit on the same shelves as clean personal care products, and then actively also work to normalize periods and educate consumers. I think they really go hand in hand.
That's amazing. And you mentioned this design company that you've partnered with and hired to do your brand development and your packaging and that kind of stuff. How did you find them all the way in Scotland?
Yeah, it was a big search. Took a lot of research. We found that there is a high concentration of really great design in the UK and in the EU. So we knew that we had to go overseas. And as soon as we did find them, there were companies here in the US. It was amazing how astronomical of pricing you could get to when you're looking at these great companies. So we really tried to find someone who could provide that value, but was also resourceful. And that hits on some of our core values as a company. And they were just the perfect partner, a perfect mid-sized partner. We absolutely loved meeting with them, and their vision and what they're able to do to take our vision and put it into a package and put it into a brand was just phenomenal. And we love working with them and still do.
That's amazing. Because for all of you listening, if you haven't yet seen the packaging for this product, it is beautiful. It is like nothing you've ever seen, especially when it comes to like menstrual period care. I was so impressed the first time I saw it. It's sort of like, I think it's still the same. Yeah. It's like cylindrical.
Yes, very much so. We wanted it to open more like a high-end lipstick.
Oh my gosh, it definitely does now that you say that.
And we've been, I think one of the greatest surprises, we knew it would be impactful and people would like it, but one of our greatest surprises was how many doors have opened for us because of our packaging. People really wanted a product that was going to be elevated and kind of present it as this high fashion, high minded experience. And they've just really adhered to that.
I love that. I'm so excited about that part. And I'm excited for everyone to get their Saalt cups because they're beautiful and life-changing all in
Yeah,
one.
speaking of that, we do have a coupon code for listeners if anybody
Yes.
wants to take the jump and try a Saalt cup. It is Sexy Soulful 10 for 10% off of our website, and our website is saltco.com.
And Salt, is it spelled with 2 A's?
2 A's, yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So SAALT.com for all of those of you listening who aren't writing it down at the moment.
Saltco.com.
Oh, saltco.com. Great.
Maybe someday we will get salt.com also.
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
We're working on that.
I'm sure. Oh, that's such a battle sometimes to get the domain name. Crazy. All right. Well, I'm so grateful for your time and for you coming on to the podcast today and sharing behind the scenes and all of the things about your beautiful business with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I do have to share some exciting news.
Yes.
Only because it happened yesterday. And that's that we got our official benefit corporation certification yesterday after going through a stringent auditing process, which is such a big win and so exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. Tell us a little bit about what is a B Corp.
Yeah, and I can end with this because I really feel like this would be my greatest advice for new entrepreneurs coming into a business is to look at the B Corp model. I love the B Corp movement because it puts people and planet over profit. And I would love to see more aspiring entrepreneurs embrace their influence to do good in the world through the benefit corporation model. We believe that the B Corp standard is really the way of the future because it has its focus on conscious capitalism in every aspect of business, from sourcing products responsibly and paying fair wages to committing to honesty and transparency in business and really using business as a force for good. And that just gives me so much hope and optimism for the future as I see more and more companies adopting this model. There's so much that every business can do to maximize their social impact while simultaneously decreasing their environmental footprint. And in industries where cheap and disposable products can offer far more profit, I really hope that new entrepreneurs will instead choose better health for their customers and our planet.
Me too. I just added, as you were saying that, I was just writing this morning in my journal before I started my day. I was writing things that I most desire now moving forward based on everything that I've learned about myself and all the things that have happened in my life in the last few months. It's been a big period of learning and gathering and healing and all of these things. So I was just writing down what I most desire moving forward. And I had 7 things on the list, one of which was a product-based business. And I just added, and basically what I wrote was all of those things that a B Corp does, but I didn't write down that it should be a B Corp. So I just did that. As we were talking, I was like, wait a minute, I need to do that before I forget. I have to just write that little detail in there. And so,
yes, go look at the movement, research it. You will fall in love right away with all the principles and values that you espouse and you put out to the world. You will love it.
I know. I've known a lot. I've known about B Corps for a while, but I don't know anyone personally, or I don't think many of the women who have been on the show have been a B Corp, have received the certification. So that's really amazing. I'm so excited for you. That's so great. Yay, even more reasons to love Saalt.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much again. It was so great to have you, and thank you for sharing everything that you shared today. I'm so excited for you and Amber and all that you're creating. Thank you for the work that you do in the world, and thank you for your time.
Yes, and thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me to take part. This was so thrilling to speak with like-minded people, and I just love everything you do. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Hello, sister, and thank you so much for being part of this amazing tribe of world-changing women and for listening to the Sexy Soulful Success podcast. I love you. I see you. I appreciate you. And I want to invite you to come on over to emilycastle.com/bundle, BUNDLE, to grab my free Soulful Success bundle with 7 of my most powerful tools for creating the impactful and abundant, soul-aligned life and business that you're here to create. I know how hard it can be to clearly and confidently communicate your message and mission to your audience, to take consistent, inspired action toward your goals, to deeply connect with your vision for success, and to do it all in a way that won't burn you out, but instead feels enlivening instead of exhausting. So I want to gift you this free bundle of my top resources that I've been using in my own life and business, as well as with my clients for the past 4 years, that have created exceptional success in record speed. So head on over to emilycastle.com/bundle to grab it right now. And I'd also like to ask a little favor. So in order for this podcast community to grow and for it to reach the eyes and ears of more women who need to hear it, we need reviews, and we need it to show up in their Instagram and Facebook feeds so that they can know about it and be aware and join us in trailblazing a new path for women leaders and entrepreneurs. So I would love to ask if you could head on over to emilycastle.com/podcast to leave a review. There's a button right at the top of the page, as well as all the latest episodes of the show, so you can listen in and share from there. And I would so appreciate your love and support with this. I have big plans and visions for the podcast this year, and I would love your help in making them a reality and being able to reach more women, to share the podcast, share the mission, but also to give more resources out and tools for women to gather in their own communities in real life and take the mission of this podcast offline as well and be in real conversation and connection and community together. So every week I'll be doing an iTunes review of the week on the podcast, and I would love to share your voice with the listening audience and share your name. So thank you so much for being part of this podcast, this movement, and this sisterhood. Together we can and are changing the world, starting with our own, shining our light even more brightly so that we can illuminate the way for others. Keep going on your path, trust in your journey, and remember, you aren't meant to do this alone. I see you, I love you, we've got this. I'll see you next time, sister.